again. I dare you. I double dare you, mother.
Get busy living. You get busy dying.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
You're gonna need a bigger boat. And here we go.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Cult Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Maloof. With me, as always, my co-host, Dante Troina. And what are we talking about this week, Dante?
We are still back.
We're back.
We're diving right into weapons. Pretty excited to get to this one. You know, I think it was one of our most anticipated of the year, and definitely gave us a lot to talk about in this podcast. So I'm excited to dive into it.
Yeah, we talked about this a couple different times on the show, I think. We definitely mentioned it when we were talking about, I believe it was in like March, maybe?
Yeah.
When we were talking about
Yeah.
like our most
Most
anticipated
anticipated.
for the rest of the year. Weapons was very high on the list. And I think it was well worth the wait. It paid off. It released in August, and we didn't get to see it in the movie theater. We've talked about this many times, but we had to wait for it to come out so we could watch it at home. Really wish I would have gotten to see this in a theater because, man, did this live up to the hype. What did you think, Dante?
Yeah, I got to watch it in about an hour in. My power went out in my house. I bought it the first night it was out on iTunes, bought it, like sat down, was ready to have the full experience, and my power just shit it out right away. Right after like the first Archer sequence with Josh Brolin. So I was pretty pissed and had to just rewatch it from scratch the next day. But again, well worth the wait. I think it only climbed up our anticipated list throughout the year. As the trailers came out, more information, interviews with the director, Zach Cregger. And again, like I just had a really good time with this movie. I don't know if it fully lived up to all my sky high expectations, but as a movie, it's going to be one that I revisit, that I think fondly of, and that's going to definitely be on some of my lists for this year.
Yeah, I think this was very highly anticipated, not just by us, but by a lot of people. Zach Cregger has become a name brand in horror filmmaking, despite having released just one movie before this, Barbarian, which was, I don't know if I would call it a hit financially. I mean, I saw it in a movie theater. I don't have the numbers on me, but it obviously was successful enough that he was very sought after for his next movie. Barbarian was a great film. Whether or not it made enough money at the box office, I think, is irrelevant. It's been publicized. There was a bidding war for this script when Cregger first was shopping it around. Ultimately, it was bought by who ended up producing this? New Line Cinema ended up getting the rights to it, outbidding Jordan Peele's production company, which was highly publicized. I think he was pretty upset about that, and that really kind of started to raise our expectations for this movie when we realized that Jordan Peele was upset that he did not acquire this film to produce. That was a big thing going into this movie.
Yeah, the momentum started bubbling, right, really early. By just hearing that as a pitch, you're like, that's how you pitch a movie. Is Jordan Peele was pissed that he didn't get to direct this movie. Like, that is a perfect pitch for a movie. You don't even have to show me a trailer at that point. And then trailers came along and were equally good and confusing and just gave you that little mystery box, you know, what happened to these children, the website that they launched along with it as well. And just knowing that Cregger subverted our expectations in Barbarian and had such a nice surprise with that movie, I think it really did make it a blip on our radar.
Yeah, I really wish I had not seen any trailers leading up to this. I watched the teaser, which I thought was really nice and vague and kind of just building anticipation. And then I ended up seeing, I don't know where, maybe on TV, or I think I was showed a trailer to my brother to try to like tell him what it was about. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just watch the trailer. And then I really wished I hadn't watched the trailer because it didn't really give any plot details away, but you see clips throughout the trailer that you see much later in the movie, and just started to kind of give me a little bit better idea of maybe what I was in for. And this movie works the best when you don't know at all what you're in for. But still, having seen the trailer going into this, was really excited. And for me, it pretty much lived up to the hype. The story follows this group of, revolves around this group of kids in a classroom that all go missing at 2:17 a.m. the same time one night, except for one kid who
Yeah.
remains, which was not communicated
Yeah.
properly in the
That was a
marketing,
nice little list or
right?
a
It was
little twist in the theater. Yeah.
all the marketing was like they all went missing, and then you watch the movie and all but one go missing. So immediately you're thinking, what's with this one kid? Like,
Right.
why was he the only one? But we really follow an ensemble, a cast of characters throughout this movie. And I really like how it's structured. We start off with Julia Garner's character, the teacher of the class who all the kids went missing from. And then we bounce around to a bunch of different characters that were all in some way affected by the disappearance of these kids we follow,
Or are about to be affected
or
by it,
are
whether
about to be.
whether they know it or not.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Exactly. We follow Josh Brolin's character, who is a dad of one of the kids. We follow Benedict Wong's character, who is the principal at the school. We also follow a um, vagrant sort of character who kind of unwittingly becomes involved in the whole disappearance. And we also follow Alden Ehrenreich's character, who is a police officer who also kind of gets wrapped up in the whole plot. So I really liked the structure of the plot, how we follow all these different characters, and it's kind of like a Pulp Fiction sort of style where the interwoven narratives kind of come together at certain cross sections throughout the movie.
Yeah, it's tight. Like it all flows together really well. I love to see the other characters in seeing James in um Julia Garner, Justine Gandy's section is cool. And then you piece together why he's asking for money for a bus ride, right? Just little things like that. It just gives you as the audience more to feed off of, more to pay attention to in the story. And it's just fun. It feels like little Easter eggs as they're popping up in each other's stories. And I feel like it flowed together really well. Do you have maybe like a favorite section of the movie? A favorite
Um,
chapter?
I think probably the Austin Abrams section, the James character, the drug addict
Yeah,
crackhead guy. He kind of brings some levity to the movie a little bit.
right.
He is like the funniest character in this movie. Um, I just liked being with him because he really has no clue what's going on, and
Crazy.
he's not at all trying to be involved in this, and he kind of just randomly gets wrapped up in this whole kind of weird premise. Yeah, I really liked him. He's also someone who we didn't see at all in any of the marketing. So when you
Right.
cut to him, you really have no idea what to expect. Not that we really have any idea what to expect throughout this movie because it's constantly, I think, subverting our expectations. But I did really like the James character. I kind of just had a fondness for him, even though he's a total idiot. But you just kind of can't help
Yeah, there's a charm.
but
There's a good
like him,
charm to
like
him.
when he's going through the lot of parked cars and just checking every door to see if it's unlocked while he's on the phone, spewing
Yep.
some bullshit about, oh, I've got to need money for this so I can get a job. And just like he's just a total grifter.
He sees a little touchpad or something and
And he steals
was
like the
trying to
kid's
sell
like
it.
toy iPad and tries to sell it at the pawn shop. And he goes, 25, 15, 10, 5, anything.
Right.
Just come on, give me. And then ultimately he gets wrapped up in this whole story because he breaks into the house of Alex, the one kid who remained, and he discovers some weird stuff going on in there as he's robbing the house, he's stealing all their silverware to try to sell it to get money for drugs. He encounters Alex's parents frozen there, who we've previously seen from Julia Garner's perspective.
Right.
And he eventually finds the kids locked in the basement.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just a great touch having him be the one to discover that because he's the one who no one is going to believe when he says, I found all the missing kids. And he doesn't even really put all that together until after the fact when he sees an ad about a monetary reward for the missing kids. And then that's really how
Yeah.
it becomes integrated into the lives of all of our other characters here.
I think, and I'm sorry, I kind of led you into the middle of the movie with that question, but it's a great answer. Like Austin Abrams as James, the only actor that was originally cast in this movie that stayed
Mhm.
around and saw it through, and for good reason. You can see that he just fits like a glove. I think everyone does great, but he's like the one person where it's, oh, nobody else could do that.
Yeah.
Maybe another character we're going to talk about later in the third act of the movie, but for Austin Abrams, he brings all the charm to it. While also breaking ground on the mystery and making all the headway in the mystery when everybody else is trying to solve the mystery. He's the one that accidentally stumbles right into it, like he should be paid as a detective.
Yeah.
He'd make a decent career for himself and probably be not homeless if he was a detective in that case.
And I mean, in classic fashion here, we have all of our characters who are are not supposed to actually be solving this are the ones that are actually making headway, while the
Right.
police basically do nothing. They have no leads. They have no idea what happened, or who to even like question about this. Josh Brolin's character is like so grief stricken that he's out here
Yeah.
actually figuring shit out. He sees the Ring doorbell footage. He goes to one of the other affected parents and asks to see their footage.
Nice
And
Justin Long cameo.
great Justin Long cameo, amazing for the Cregger heads out there. We have Justin Long in both the Cregger films now. He's got to show up in Resident Evil somewhere, but that's another discussion. Um, but yeah, I mean, I thought Brolin was amazing in this movie. He's just so solid at this point. You really can't get a
He's
bad performance out
magnetic.
of him.
Yeah.
You really feel his grief throughout the movie. And you really feel the desperation of like that a parent would feel in this scenario of what in something so unexplainable, you have to try to make sense of it. And Josh Brolin's way of making sense of it is trying to actually understand what happened. And he eventually leads us pretty close to figuring out what happened, or he at least figures out that all these kids ran in the same direction. They all ended up at the same point, which ends up being Alex's house, which is a big key to kind of unraveling the whole mystery.
Yeah. I think to touch on Brolin, like he was fully bought into this movie, and he probably did out of any of the actors, he is the biggest actor in this movie. And so he did a lot of the marketing push for this movie. And you can tell this script was near and dear to him. Just the little moments, him sleeping in his child's bed, hinting at when his wife comes in and talks to him that maybe they don't have the best relationship right now in their grieving. And also his dream sequence is fucking terrific. And I love that Cregger even acknowledges like he doesn't know what the weapon, the assault rifle stands for.
Well,
That's over the house in his dream sequence.
Let's get into that. So there are
Go
a
ahead.
few
Yeah.
dream sequences in this movie. This movie is billed as a horror film, rightfully so, coming from Zach Cregger. It's not that scary. There are a few really tense, really scary moments that I think are especially effective if you're watching this in a contained, dark space, ideally a movie theater. But I rewatched this in like an open living room setting.
Oh yeah.
And it's just not nearly as effective as the first time I watched it, where you have all the lights off, everyone's quiet, everyone is locked in on this
Yep.
movie, or watching on a big screen. That is really where this movie is most effective in its scares. There are a few scary moments, few tense moments throughout the movie. One in particular is Josh Brolin's character has this dream where he's sleeping in his son's bed. He wakes up, he thinks he sees his son running out of the house, and he has this kind of surreal dream sequence where he follows his son outside, follows him back into their house, and floating over their house, he sees an assault rifle with the time 217
Yeah.
written on it, like in an analog clock, like on the barrel of the gun. This is easily like the most what the fuck moment in this movie. Like, what's going on here? What are we seeing? Probably the most talked about shot in this movie, probably one of the most talked about shots of the year in
It's
movies.
just so interesting. It's so you just want to know. And the fact that the director himself has said that he just put it there not having like a real answer
It's
to
like
it
a
is what makes
troll
it even
almost.
more interesting.
It
Yeah.
is just like, this would be cool to
It's
see.
teasing.
And
It's
there's
dangling above the
ideas,
house.
there's maybe some like ideas of what he has, and he's probably not saying exactly what he was thinking, right?
Right.
But he's doing the classic, what's inside the case in Pulp Fiction. Like, well, what do you think it is? That's way more
Right.
important than what I think it is, because once I say something, then that's what it is. But
Right.
so I think Cregger's doing the Tarantino thing there, and he's wise to do it. I mean, I wouldn't want him to explain, well, this is exactly what I was thinking about when I put that in there, because that takes away all the mystery. And it is so fun to watch that sequence with people and just see their reactions. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? I
Right.
mean, the movie is called Weapons. The phrase weapons is said multiple times throughout the movie. We see multiple different uses of different weapons. The kids are at one point referred to as being like human
Her
missiles,
weapons.
right?
Yeah.
Human weapons as they're running to their destination. So a lot going on there. I don't know exactly what he's thinking, or I don't know exactly what to make of the assault rifle shot. A lot has been said about the idea of school shootings and kids going missing in classrooms.
Sure.
That being an allegory that could easily be overlaid across this movie. I don't think that's what Cregger was exactly thinking, but that's kind of the whole point of this movie. Is it's open to interpretation and people can project onto it what they feel. So I'm not going to say that's not what that was about, but I think
Right.
it's easily the coolest moment in this movie.
Well, and some things in dreams are not that deep, and they appear to have some
Right.
meaning in your dream or whatever. And I'm on asthma medicine. I take the Benadryl before bed sometimes, and I'll have some weird dreams where I'll see someone I haven't seen in years, and they're telling me about their rock collection or something, right? And so it doesn't have meaning, or maybe it does, and that's what's kind of fun about it. But one thing's for sure, it's a harrowing shot. Like that is probably the most haunting shot in the entire movie to me, and it's early enough in the movie where you still kind of believe that it can be a horror movie. I think the Justine Gandy sequence going into Archer's sequence, Julia Garner to Josh Brolin, you still do feel enough tension that it is a horror movie. There's still enough of a mystery to everything that's going on. I think to maybe I want it to be more of a mystery. We can get into that later, but I think they do like to reveal and have a little bit of humor throughout the second act, especially of the movie, and then dip back into some of those horror undertones. But I think its placement in the movie is very interesting as well, because it is very early on, and it lets your mind just wander throughout the rest of the movie too, of what that could have meant. And you're searching for a connection, and you don't really get it, or as far
Mhm.
as we know, you don't really get it, right?
It doesn't wrap this movie does not wrap all
No.
of its little, like, references up in a neat little bow. We do get a pretty satisfying ending to this movie, which I wanna talk about in just a minute. Um, there is a lot of humor interspersed throughout this movie as well. You get, like, probably the funniest moment in this movie is at the end of the dream sequence when after immediately after one of the scariest moments. So we get a
Yeah,
couple different dreams that end with, Aunt Gladys, who we don't know who that is yet at this point in the character. She's just like a
right.
scary makeup old lady. We first see her after Julia Garner has a scary dream, and then she sees Aunt Gladys on her ceiling. And then after the Josh Brolin dream sequence, he rolls over in his son's bed, and Aunt Gladys is like haunting, scary faces there staring at him. And then he wakes up and just has a perfect like, "What the fuck?"
Right.
Line
Right.
line reading, which is just amazing. Um, that's like one of the funniest moments in this movie. But
It is.
there is some humor, Barbarian too. There definitely is some humor interwoven with the tense, scary moments.
Maybe nothing as good as measuring square footage in a basement.
No, that's one of
Um,
the funniest things I've seen in a
but
while.
but still, yeah, I agree with you. Like the what the fuck from Brolin is probably the best or the funniest moment in the entire movie of him
Mhm.
just fully bewildered at what he's seeing in his dream, so frustrated, just everything boiling over when he wakes up. And great reading by him, because that's not at all who you think his character would be. And then it's like, yeah, he's just like any other father,
Mhm.
right? But also has these, is more confused than we are by what's going on.
Uh,
Um, Go ahead, go ahead.
well, before I just talk about Aunt Gladys, I do wanna just round out the rest of the cast first, the rest
Yeah,
of the main players here. Alden Ehrenreich, his cop, and cop's name is Paul. He
yeah.
kinda plays a sad sack,
Shit bag.
mustachioed
Yeah.
cop. Um, I mean, we've been hearing a lot about the, comparisons to Magnolia with this movie. I think rightfully so. We follow a cast of characters, all trying to kind of sort out their feelings, in that case, about different issues. But the Alden Ehrenreich character, very reminiscent to me of the John C. Reilly character in Magnolia.
Yeah.
Um, and he kind of gets caught into this story as well. He has history with Julia Garner's character. They end up hooking up again at one point in this movie. We get a kind of a funny but also pretty
After he's jabbed by a needle too.
right,
What
right.
what a sad sack, like you said.
Yeah, he ends up getting involved, with Julia Garner's character, but also with Austin Abrams' character. He catches him trying to steal some stuff, and then Abrams ends up poking him with the needle, and then Eric just decks him, punches him in the face, and then he's all scared about that, of getting caught for that. Um, and then we also have Benedict Wong, who plays the principal of the school, and who I think is at the center of one of probably the most disturbing scene in this
Yeah.
movie when and we're getting into Gladys here. When Aunt Gladys, we kind of finally she's revealed about 2/3 of the way through the movie when she comes into the office to talk to Benedict Wong's character, about Alex's parents and about, the disappearance of the kids. We That's when we kind of start to think about who is this lady. We've been seeing her throughout the movie, um,
Yeah.
and we're
To
immediately
me, the mystery's out the window as soon as she
as soon as
walks
she
in.
comes in, you think so?
As soon as she walks in, you're like, yeah, okay, there's our third act, who
It's
done
got
it.
something to do with
That's
it.
that's exactly who's done it.
And she does, and Amy Madigan is amazing in this role. She's so sinister and,
Yeah.
like, so, like, sweet to the point of, like, sickly, almost like saccharine.
Yeah.
Um, and she's awesome. And she comes in, she has this conversation with Benedict Wong's character, and then we next time we see her, she shows up at his house, and that's like this
Oh,
is really
Jesus, I missed the bus. Oh,
Thi
boy.
and this is really when the whole plot really starts to, like, kick into high gear because we are immediately we see that she is some sort of witch, and that's really where when
Yeah.
it is revealed that this is who is behind all of the disappearances, is this lady is a witch, because she comes into their house, does a ritual where she cuts her hand, cracks the stick with hair on it, and puts it in a bowl full of water, and has Benedict Wong beat his husband to death with, like, headbutting him to
Yeah.
death, and then gets up, runs off, and then that's when we see him again, because we've already seen him previously attacking Julia Garner at the gas station, and that's kind of
Right.
like a, "What the fuck is going on?" And then we hard cut away from that, and then we're brought back into that piece of the plot. That I think is the most disturbing scene in this movie when he is, like, repeatedly bashing his
Yeah.
head down. Um
The score completely dips out. They just let you soak in it, let you soak in him beating his husband, and
yeah.
the realization from him of, "Are those my ribbons from my desk?"
Uh-huh.
Like, that little realization from him too is, just pretty haunting. Yeah, just knowing what happens to him, and then the disturbingness of seeing the one of my favorite shots is just his feet running across everything that's going around town. Like, you see him go through a park
Yeah,
and
yeah.
run by
Mhm.
somebody's house and run by the gas station. You hear people reacting to him. Oh God, what the hell?
Mhm.
Um, and then eventually leading to him attacking Justine Gandy. And even more disturbing, I think, was him getting just whacked by a truck.
Yes.
And he kind of, in a Resident Evil fashion, just completely loses his head while he's whacked by the truck.
Yeah.
So just yeah, just not out of left field, but very surprisingly gory all of a sudden.
Mhm. What did you think about the reveal when Amy Madigan comes in, when Aunt Gladys comes into the house and does the witch magic, and you're starting to realize that this is the person who's behind all of this? How did you feel about that reveal?
So, like, when I'm watching it, I'm just frozen too. I'm as frozen as they are. And I'm like, dude, pick up the phone, like, trying to think through the situation. If somebody walked into my house, obviously don't let somebody into your house in the type of movie you're in, Benedict Wong. But I think the reveal itself, I thought the scene was tense. I'm not sure if I love that being the way she was revealed, but I can't think of like a better way off the top of my head. And I do like what it led to with Marcus sprinting around, like I said, and going to attack Julia Garner. I think it was kind of weird that she had him attack uh, Justine Gandy, Julia Garner's character. And I know like her attack failed, but it just kind of felt like, oh, you're attacking the one person that you think might be on this mystery, but besides that, you're doing it in broad daylight. Like, it felt kind of uncalculated, I guess, by Amy Madigan as Gladys, as the witch. Um, but I don't know if I have like a strong opinion on it. I don't know if I love it. I don't know if I hate it, but I do really like what it led to.
I think going into this movie, if you had told me that there was a witch behind all of this, I would have said that's too easy of like a solution, I would have said
Yeah.
that's too simple. There's got to be something more to this. And there
Yeah.
wasn't. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
that's what was causing it. There was Aunt Gladys, who is a witch, comes and basically forces her way into Alex's house with his parents. We don't ever know, like, it's never fully there is, like, some mystery around, like,
Yeah.
is she actually even related to them?
Yeah.
Like,
They
has
even
she, like
say they haven't seen her in
they've seen her
years,
in so
or
long, they don't even really remember
she's
her,
my
like, is
aunt's
she
sister's aunt thing,
right?
like,
Like, is she actually even related to them, or is she just totally, like, manipulating them, like, even before she actually puts them under a spell?
right.
Um, and yeah, it's revealed in, some flashbacks that's what Amy Madigan has been doing, is she has
Doing
taken over
witchy
Alex's
shit.
house. She's doing some witchy shit. She taken over his parents, forcing Alex to feed them and threatening him that she will there's that scene where she forces them to stab themselves with forks and then says, if you don't listen to me, I'm gonna make them kill each other. I can even make them eat each other. Um, pretty fucked up stuff there,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Cregger. So
Feeding some Campbell's soup to the dad.
yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was the witch that was causing all of this that manipulated Alex to go into his classroom, take all of the name tags off of all the kids' totes, and use that as part of the spell to get all the kids to come to
Right.
her house. And it's said that she's sick. There's something wrong with her,
She's
so she's
dying.
sort of like
Yeah.
trying to feed off of Alex's parents' energy, but that's not enough. So she decides
Yeah.
that she's gonna get this whole class of kids to feed off of. And they're all just kind of standing
As one
motionless in the
does.
basement. Yeah, as one does,
Yeah.
as a witch does. Um, Overall, I think it's a cool idea. I'm not mad about like how it turned out at all. I just would have thought that there was going to be something a lot more complex, maybe behind the
Sophisticated, maybe.
disappearance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like witch movies. I just was definitely a little caught off guard by the reveal that no, it was a witch. That was her thing.
It
Um,
to me, and this might be like more nitpicks about the movie or frustrations. I think it's a really good movie with strokes of genius in it. And I think one of the strokes of genius is the Alex title card in and of itself.
mm,
And you realize you're going to see things from his perspective. And I think that sequence is haunting and just great. And the child actor is fucking terrific as Alex Lilly. And I think Gladys as a character is interesting and fun and terrifying at times. I think Amy Madigan's performance is great. I agree with you, right? I just don't know, like too easy. Feels kind of like how Longlegs did, where it's like, oh, it's devil stuff at the end. It's one person possessing a couple kids, and it made the mystery feel so much smaller. Whereas I think the pitch of the movie is just an all-time pitch. And I think my big nitpick, I guess, is that the movie takes place so far after the kids have disappeared, about a month after the kids have disappeared. I would have liked if it took place the next morning and just started the mystery from there and had maybe more of what I think I really liked about Josh Brolin Archer's character is that he's trying to solve it, right? Julia Garner and Justine Gandy are trying to solve it. And there's even the press conference, which I think is a great thing at the beginning of the movie, showing the fallout of the town. And I think while all the characters and all the sequences are interesting and make for a really good movie, I think there's a really great movie that's buried in the mystery of what happened to these kids. And then the answer, while the character is satisfying, while the performance is satisfying, maybe the answer is not the most satisfying to me.
yeah, I would say the reveal maybe wasn't totally satisfying, but what is very, very satisfying is the ending of this film. For you could definitely say, like, I would agree with what you said there about maybe wanting a little bit more from the mystique of it all. But the ending for me is maybe one of the best endings I've seen in a long time, where eventually we culminate in a lot of our characters ending up in this house, being trapped, being put under the same kind of witchcraft spell. And Alex, you got to give it to the kid. I mean, he
Yeah.
figures some shit out. He's smart. He sees what his Aunt Gladys has been doing, how she's been controlling these people with her witchcraft, and he uses it against her. And he essentially uses it to turn all of the kids against her. And when he grabs that stick and starts wrapping her hair around it, that's a big, oh
Yep.
shit, here we go. Like that's an
Yep.
awesome moment.
And good for him that he did it too.
And good for him. Good for him that he figured that out. And when he snaps that twig and you just see Gladys's expression change, and she goes, oh fuck. And then all the kids are just heat-seeking missiles locked onto Gladys. And
Yep.
she's running through people's backyards and they're crashing through screen doors and windows, and then the kids just tear her to pieces in
Yep.
someone's front lawn. One of the best endings I've seen in a long time, and I'm just really glad that that's where we ended up.
Yeah, I think it was fun to see that like a lot of the humor or whimsical side of the movie did pay off with that. I think a lot of people were frustrated with the ending because it didn't answer every question they had. I think a lot of people want this movie to be more scary at the end, and I was fine with it being humorous and just fucking weird at the end.
Mhm.
And I like that the kids are the ones who get the payback on her. They they steal their innocence back per se. And the narration at the end, like so weird and out of place, but just oddly fits the movie. Just the little excerpt at the end where it feels like the sentence is going to keep going. You're going to see something, and then it just cuts to black. Oh, the movie's done.
Yep.
Okay. And I think that's just, I respect when a director or writer director does it their own way. I always think it's good to be done like that.
Well, what else did you want, or what did you think that people were expecting from the ending that we didn't get?
I think some people want it to be just overall more of a horror movie, which it was not. And I don't think they liked that Gladys, maybe they were excited when Gladys was introduced and thought that there was this witchy woman and didn't like that she was ultimately ripped to shreds while screaming as a joke.
I just loved
that
it.
expressed. I've seen that expressed in other people's things. I don't know if I loved it, but I didn't feel any bad type of way about it. I thought I liked it. I think that whole Alex sequence gets people hyped up for the horror again, and then it doesn't go with horror at the end. I think some people were kind of maybe upset by the humor. I was expecting a bit of humor because Barbarian interlace or interwove.
You can definitely expect some humor,
everything.
I think.
For me, my part is I wanted more of a mystery. I maybe even didn't even want an answer at the end. I didn't need it to be this entity or this witch or this thing. I would have liked like maybe no answer. You know, you never know what happened to these kids, and that stays with you. That's haunting. Some things don't have a big bad behind them. Some things don't have a reason. But I think some people maybe also wanted to see more to Gladys and Amy Madigan, because it's a magnetic performance, but I just think it didn't need an explanation to me. It didn't need an explanation for the rules behind her branch breaking.
We figure
this
it
kind
out.
of stuff. If you're watching the movie, it tells you everything you need to know. She's possessing people. That's it. And she's feeding off their life form. Okay. Like I'm in on that. I think a lot of people have expressed disappointment in that part, or people that are disappointed in the movie are disappointed because of that entirely. And that to me, it seems like Gladys might be getting a prequel movie as well. So maybe they'll get their answer to that.
I think
which
people are talking. That's all talk. I don't think we'll actually get an Aunt Gladys prequel movie. I mean, that doesn't seem like Cregger's bag at all at this point.
He better be locked in on Resident Evil.
I know. I mean, you guys, Sinners 2 and the Aunt Gladys prequel movie 2028, I guess.
Sinners 2 with Tom Cruise.
God. I don't know about any of that, but I think it was a great character. I think Amy Madigan was outstanding in this part. She's really creepy, really just kind of off-putting. I really like that scene when Austin Abrams is in the woods and he's like, he sees her. He like looks, he's like getting kind of freaked out. Yeah, and he sees her like waving to him in the woods, and he's instantly like, "Oh fuck!" He's like so scared, and he doesn't even know what it is, but he just like instinctively knows that something really fucked up is happening. Which also leads into a great moment of him jumping out of his tent and stabbing Alden Ehrenreich in the face with a needle. Which Ehrenreich just getting stabbed by a lot of needles in this movie. Yeah. So someone pointed out, why is he spraying the shit on his finger? Why isn't he just like go to the hospital if he really thinks he's like been stabbed by something really gross and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the spray is, I guess, supposed to be like some sort of like inoculated or you know, get the bacteria out or whatever. But like, if you really think that there was diseases in that needle, why would you not go to the hospital? But little nitpicks, like don't have to worry about that stupid kind of shit. But
I think it was reminiscent of like Skarsgård as Pennywise in 2017 and the first, right, where you're just, who the fuck is this? And just the popping up in random locations was fun throughout the movie. I think for Gladys, we could have gotten more of that too. Yeah. If we were going to lead into this big bad, this witch, this haunting character, we got her in 2 dream sequences for a jump scare in each, right? It wasn't that she was controlling these sequences or anything. She obviously had influence on him, but the movie didn't outright tell you that she was kind of behind it. And you get the sequence in the woods where she waves, which is fucking horrifying and like awesome. But maybe we could have gotten a little bit more of that interwoven throughout the movie to make it so that when you do see her, like you do know that she's in the dreams, but you're trying to confirm that that's her when you first see her in Marcus's office. Where I think like if you put her in it a little bit more, it would make all that more satisfying to me, that she is the big demon behind everything.
I tell you, if we could have had Cregger on for this episode, I think I would have wanted to ask him if he ever had plans for an Aunt Gladys title card. If we could have gotten a
Right,
whole sequence of her,
right,
what was she up to?
yeah,
Then we wouldn't have people asking for a prequel movie about her.
right,
She is a really interesting character. I think probably the most interesting character in this movie, just based on everything you could kind of infer about her backstory and how she came to this moment. There is definitely a lot
yeah.
there, a lot more than what we got in this movie.
Well,
Would have
this
cool a little bit more of that.
have you heard one of my favorite theories, and I'm not as well versed in this stuff, but Lilith, who is the demon Lilith, the first wife of Adam in the Hebrew Bible, is used a lot in like fantasy and literature, and apple is usually one of the symbols for her, because of Adam and Eve. She's been related to like the White Witch in Narnia. She's the queen of the night in demonology in Hebrew. Uh, Demons, basically. She's the queen of the night and can control dreams. And her last name is presumably Lily, because Alex's last name is Lily,
Mm.
right? And so Gladys Lily, Lilith. I really like that theory. There's not a ton of strings attaching it, but it's just a nice one that I think like I would like to think she's been around for more than 50, 60 years,
I
however
would
old
say
she
she's a
will
much
be.
older than she
Right.
looks. Like, she looks
And
like she's probably about 70, 80 years old. I would assume she's a lot older than that.
well, when you see her with the makeup off and the head rag on,
And
she's
those
she's
braids,
definitely scary.
those little
Yeah.
braids, she almost has,
Oh
like, the
yeah.
cornrows going. Yeah, those are,
Yeah.
quite gross.
But so that's one of my favorite like loose strings. I know somebody else can explain it better. Somebody can do their own research on it that's watching this. I think that's one of my favorite, like, oh, that's a cool thread. That's a cool theory to show that she is some sort of eternal being. I think it explains the branches and the little potted tree that she has maybe coming from that time, right? Being one with the earth. Kind of instead of like having like a demon or devil circle, she's like actually meditating, which I find to be kind of interesting. It doesn't feel like she's doing a devil ritual. Feels like she is trying to be like pure in her own way. While she's not searching for like divine purity, she is looking to cleanse herself or feed herself to go on for more years of life, which I find interesting because it doesn't feel like she's. I feel like the devil cop out is used too much in some of these movies too. I didn't feel like the devil stuff got laced in. It was still a big bad, some haunting monster that we don't know much about at the end, but it wasn't just oh evil devil. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, overall, I thought this movie worked very, very well. I had a little gripes here and there, but I mean, I was all the way bought in on this movie. I really wanted to
yeah.
like it, and I think for the most part, it delivered. Um, do you think this is better or worse than Barbarian, or did you like this better than Barbarian or not?
I think so. I think this is a better made movie than Barbarian. I think Cregger even thinks it's a better made movie than Barbarian. I think he's really happy with the product here. I watched an interview about him and David Fincher talking about how you can get to where you want with the movie. Whereas he said he himself he made a lot of sacrifices in Barbarian because he had a lower budget because he couldn't
Much lower
follow
budget.
through, much lower budget, right? And so I think this movie feels more complete. And if I was going to rewatch one, it's going to be this one. Well, Barbarian, I think the first time watching, Barbarian might be a better first watch. Weapons is one I've been drawn back to already in the short time that I've been able to see it. Um, both really good movies, both going to be rewatched.
Absolutely. I mean, he's 2 for 2. He's 2
Yeah.
for 2 on bangers. Barbarian, I think, is very, very rewatchable too, especially if you're rewatching it with people who haven't seen it, because
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
cut midway through is just so perfect for to watch that with someone who doesn't know it's coming. This movie also is really rewatchable, I think, because of its structure, similar to Barbarian, but in a different way. The
Yeah.
structure here, following all these different characters and then kind of mixing their stories backwards and forwards. Characters are crossing paths with each other. It's just always fun to see. I mean, Pulp Fiction is my favorite movie, so whenever a movie does a good version of the Pulp Fiction narrative structure, it always works
Right.
on me. Um,
Right.
and I really, really enjoyed this. I'm glad that we got another movie where the plot is explained to us pretty much at the end of the movie, but like you said, there's a lot of little things for people to pick apart and go back on and try to find
Yeah.
connections. And it's rewatchable for that reason. So overall, this movie is really, really good. It's definitely worth anyone's time, and I think this will end up on a lot of people's end of the year lists,
Yep.
probably including ours.
Yep. I have a few questions for you on this one regarding the actors. I think we both know like this movie originally had a way different cast.
Yes.
I'm saying her name wrong. I believe she's French. Renate Rensive from Worst Person in the World was going to be Justine Gandy.
Yep.
Pedro Pascal in Josh Brolin's role.
Mhm.
Brian Tyree Henry would have been Benedict Wong, Marcus. And then Tom Burke from The Black Bag, who you're probably a little bit more familiar with,
I do know Tom
would
Burke,
have
yes.
been Paul Alden Ehrenreich's character. I think this movie really landed on its feet with who it had. I don't picture any of these guys doing a better job in any of the roles. And it's cool to see we've been able to see the script, I guess, has been out for this movie for a long time. We heard about the bidding war. I think it is really interesting to see how a movie originally was or how it was pitched. And I think we have gotten that with this movie and then the end result of what it is. Is there any of those, or are there any of those original actors that you think you would have liked to see in this movie?
I don't know. I don't know. The Worst Person in the World actress is interesting. Again, I'm not even gonna try
Yeah.
to say her name.
Yeah.
Probably should have looked up how to pronounce her name before doing this, but
I think it's
I
French. Renate Rennes. Yeah.
I think you're right. Well, we're gonna have to learn her name because she's got a new movie
Yes.
coming out,
She's a great
Sentimental
actress too.
Value, very soon, which I do really want to see and talk about that movie with Elle Fanning. Different conversation. Yeah, I maybe would have liked to see her in the Julia Garner role. We've been getting a lot
Yeah.
of Julia Garner recently. Not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't love her generally as a performer. I think she always does a fine job, but I'm a little confused, I guess, as to why we've been getting so
The
much of
hype.
her
The real
recently.
hype. Yeah.
Fantastic Four, this, lots of other things that I can't name off the top of my head. There was the Rosemary's Baby prequel, which was literally just Rosemary's Baby
Oh,
again, but before Rosemary, where she was the Rosemary character.
okay.
Yeah, maybe would have liked to see a swap there with the Justine Gandy role. But
I
besides
think
that, I don't
that
think I
one's
would have
really
any
interesting to
other
me
changes.
because that one I think brings something different to the character too, and maybe even more desperate and more. I feel like she could pull off, whereas Garner does a fine job. I think, not going to attempt the name again. Could have pulled off a little bit more of the desperation
Yeah.
in this situation, which I would have been interested to kind of see. I think Brian Tyree Henry would have been just as good as Benedict Wong is.
Mhm.
And that's taking nothing away from Benedict Wong because I think he is great. Just the size of the role, I think we both love Brian Tyree Henry,
He's
Paperboy.
great. Oh, Paperboy. He's great.
He would be awesome in that role. Like I would have loved to see him. I would love to see his reactions the same as Benedict Wong's to
I
the
do just really
Gladys
like
coming in.
I do like Benedict Wong. He just has something
love
in
'em
this
both.
movie. He has kind of like a just kind of a willful ignorance that I think he
Yeah.
portrays really well in this movie. Brian Tyree Henry, I think he would have been maybe more
little-
serious. You would have believed him more as someone who
Right.
like, why are you not taking this more seriously?
Yep.
Like you kind of think that he is someone who's going to be more logical and who's just going to be smarter in that situation.
He would have
maybe.
been funnier too.
Yeah.
He would have had more facial reactions to it. Whereas Benedict Wong does have like you said, like some sort of blissful ignorance to what's going on in a weird way, or some sort of innocence in him
Yes.
where it does get stripped away by Gladys. Whereas I think Brian Tyree Henry could have had that side, that edge to him, but also had some hilarious reactions and would have brought a fun Marcus, I think, to screen as well. Pedro Pascal, no.
I think if you that would have been one too many Pedro Pascals for
Nope.
me this year. I think we have gotten more than enough.
Love him, but no.
Nothing against Pedro, but I'm a huge Josh Brolin guy. I think Josh
That's
Brolin lends
Brolin's
so much
role.
credibility to this role. You really believe him as a dad in this movie. And Pedro, I think would have almost taken me out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Brolin, obviously we know he's Josh Brolin, but he's so good at being just he's so good at being the character. And Pedro is like almost gotten too big where it's like you
Right.
can't
It's Pedro
see him
Pascal.
as anything else than Pedro Pascal. He was great in Eddington this year. I really
Right.
enjoy Pedro Pascal most of the time, but am glad that Brolin is in this movie instead.
It's a bummer because Pascal's early career was disappearing into characters, was being this suave, cool guy. And I I think he's lost a bit of that and become a little bit more mainstream. And Josh Brolin just owns that role. And then Tom Burke, fine actor, but I love Alden Ehrenreich. Like he is, I think
I'm
both
so
of
glad
our
we got
guys.
Ehrenreich in this movie because we haven't
Yeah.
seen him in a while, right? We have.
He's just when he
haven't
pops up,
seen
it's
him.
just a good thing. You
He
know,
was in.
his 5 lines in Oppenheimer are awesome.
He was in a movie.
Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, we had Cocaine Bear. We had him in Oppenheimer, and we had him in his last starring role was in
Was Solo.
No,
That's
but
how I
after
feel.
Solo, I'm blanking on the name, but it was like a workplace relationship, like manipulation movie. I'm blanking on the title here. What was it? Fair
I know
Play.
what you're talking about.
Fair
I know what
Play.
you're talking about.
It was on Netflix. Yeah. With Phoebe Denevere. Yeah, Denevere.
Right. He was trying to kill her or some shit. Yeah.
That was the last thing I saw him in a starring role. We've been getting little bits of him here and there. Loved him in Oppenheimer. I'm a big Ehrenreich fan, so great to see him have like a pretty sizable role in this movie.
I think his best days are still yet to come, and I'm so happy they are.
Yes.
I think there's some actors like in his shoes that would have disappeared or would have not gotten the opportunities or not taken the opportunities that he's been given too, because he's taken some roles that were much smaller than his initial breakout role. I really like him. I'm bought into his career, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Is there an actor? Did you think about this at all? I thought about this throughout the whole movie. Is there an actor that you wish was in this movie?
That's a good question.
I got one.
You give me what you got here. What do you have?
David Dasmalchian.
Oh, sure.
This movie was begging for that guy to be in it.
Where
and I
was
don't mean
he
it was
gonna fit
missing
in?
without him. I don't know, but this movie needed him. He could have been the creepy. He could have done the same thing he did in Prisoners. He could have been the guy who gives you a false lead. And I would have loved that. I just love him in this style of movie. Make it a little bit more mysterious, make a character that just looks wrong on screen. I think a lot of these characters have distinct looks, and he would bring a very distinct look in this movie as well. I just think it's a movie that's just begging for him for 5 to 10 minutes in it. Yeah.
I don't have anything for you on who should be in this movie. I think it was very well cast. I honestly wouldn't switch out anybody here. I want to see more of Austin Abrams, so I'm really glad that he's going to be in the Resident Evil movie that Cregger is currently shooting right now. Did you see the set photos from that?
Yeah, it's wintertime.
It's wintertime. Raccoon City.
It is. I don't know if...
and you know what? I don't know anything
nervous
about Resident Evil. I've never played a Resident Evil video game. I've never seen any of the shitty movies. And I think I'm just not gonna I'm just gonna go into the Cregger movie, and that will be my baptism in Resident Evil.
I hope it's good enough that someone like you who does play video games and will dive into something if you really like it. I hope like it's good enough that you want to play the games after.
Yeah.
Because fuck, man, I'm so nervous still about it. Like it's true that I like Zach Cregger. I like what he's been doing. He said some interesting quotes about Resident Evil where he's like, "Oh, I'm just not going to embrace the video games." And I'm like, "Hey, let's not do all that now." But Resident Evil is one of my favorite video game franchises, and I'm so nervous for that movie. But I think Austin Abrams will fit like a glove into that universe.
I think he's going to star in that movie.
Step up.
Right? Is he going to? He said he was going to be his guy, his star in that movie. Is that right?
See, I don't know. I've been trying to.
I think I remember him saying
photos,
that.
but I'm trying to healthily distance myself from some stuff.
I think I remember hearing Cregger on the press run for this movie say that Abrams was going to be his guy for Resident Evil and was going to star in that movie. So I guess we'll see.
I'm ready for it. I think Bob Ferguson would have been good in this movie as well.
Bob
Leonardo
Ferguson.
DiCaprio.
Okay, sure, yeah. Just put
he'd be good in everything.
Sure, yeah,
But
obviously.
Could you imagine him just popping
Michael
in the
Jordan would have been
background a
great
bit?
on the Lakers, in the 90s.
Would have killed
right?
it. Would have killed it. Right. Yeah.
That's all I've got.
Great movie that lends itself. Yeah. That's all I got too. I had such a fun time. I can't wait to rewatch this again. Once I've had a little bit more distance from it. I think I rewatched it 2 or 3 times after I watched it the first time a couple months ago. And so I'm excited to get distance from this movie and watch it again in a year or so and love it again.
I'm excited to see where Cregger goes next with Resident Evil and beyond. I've also heard him say that he has at least one more script ready to go. That's another original story after Resident Evil. So I think we've just got a real like horror auteur on our hands, someone who is going to consistently deliver really cool movies that we can like be excited for every year, like a new Jordan Peele, like someone who
Yep.
comes. I mean, Peele, we obviously knew who Jordan Peele was. But we had no idea who Zach Cregger was before
Right.
Barbarian.
Right.
So
And we had no idea how good Peele was.
exactly. So it's just so fun to
It's fun.
have people like this who you can get excited for each and every one of their movies and make it like a little mini event, and like someone
Yeah.
who like we can take ownership of, because the greats
Right.
have kind of been great before we came of age of what really like knowing about
Yeah.
movies, right? Like even Nolan was a little bit before our
He was
time.
established for
He
sure.
was established,
Yeah.
you know, before when we started watching movies. So just really cool to have a guy like this. So Zach, keep
Well,
doing what you're doing.
they're also different too. All these horror guys, all these Eggers, Peele. I think Peele and Cregger have some similarities, but they're different,
Definitely.
100%, and they tell different stories. So it's cool to have so many different people going towards different directions in the same genre, because it's a genre that, when done right, gives us results like Weapons.
Mhm.
So I'm with you. We're gonna watch his career with great interest. Um, there's no pun with his name, but the gun is reloaded. It sounds like he does have a lot of things in the clip for us coming up soon. And I'm nervous as shit about Resident Evil, but I'm excited for it.
Awesome. Thanks for listening to the Cinema Cult podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. And we will see you very, very soon.